After facing the wrath of the Vatican, my first guest is reaching more people perhaps than ever before with a message about truth, life, and protecting American freedom. And we're pleased to welcome His Excellency Bishop Joseph Strickland, who joins us now. Bishop, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom.
This is not your normal venue, right? So what was it like to speak to hundreds and hundreds of folks who really are political activists last night at that dinner?
Well, it was really great. As I said, I don't see them as political activists. I see us all as created in the image of God and beloved of God. And I think that's really something we all need to remember. That love of God is the power that has created the universe and created us.
Your Excellency, you talked a lot last night. I was there for the speech and it was excellent. You talked a lot about humility, about being humble. Now, some would say that with the rise of Marxism in America, which we're seeing a very militant secularism in media, higher education, big tech, corporations, the administrative state, that maybe in order to fight, fight those threats, that there's a bit of a contradiction there. How do you be humble, but then also, be bold in this fight?
Well, really, Tom, I would say in this fight, we have to be strong. Mm-hmm. And the greatest strength we have is humility, which is based in the truth. It's not some kind of shy avoiding, but it's a recognition of staying on your path. Mm-hmm. And Jesus Christ, God's Son, demonstrates that for us in profound ways that are beyond any of us. The humility of the Lord of the universe, an embryo in the womb of a woman, the Blessed Virgin Mary, and in our Catholic faith, present in simple bread and wine. He's really there. That's our faith. We call it the real presence, the Eucharist. So Jesus Christ, God's Son, demonstrates humility and demonstrates as the one, as I mentioned last night, he says in the gospel, all power in heaven and on earth has been granted to him by his heavenly Father, by our heavenly Father. This is a power place. CPAC and all the political world and beyond the United States. I mean, there's so many power shifts going on, and people grasping for power. We have to remember who is real power, and that is God, our Creator, and His Son. So humility, to me, is that path to connect to the power source.
So you focus on truth, and that's the way to defeat Marxism and socialism.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ is truth incarnate. We're in a time where even within our beloved Catholic Church, people are saying, oh, this truth can change and it needs to be adapted. We need to look to what people are saying and do what they're asking. No, we need to look to God more than ever and what He has revealed to us. It's a beautiful, glorious truth that is good news. We need to remember that.
I want to talk about the church just for a little bit, because to the left in this country, everything is about politics, right? Everything is about the agenda and moving that agenda, okay? I've heard from a lot of your brother bishops, other priests, other folks in the church, well, we don't want to be political. Is that a blind spot where they don't quite realize the difference between the big P political and the small p political, which is really the policy and the agenda? Is that a blind spot within the church today that needs to change in order to fight this fight?
Well, Tom, I would say yes, it is. I believe, again, we look to Jesus Christ. He was accused of he was pretty political, if we don't think in those terms of 2,000 years ago. What political party? But look what he says to the scribes and Pharisees and to the leaders of Rome that he speaks to. He says, do unto Caesar. But so Christ is very political. And in that sense, being in the public square, speaking the truth that God has revealed to us, it's an absolute necessity for us to be there. Not choosing this party or that, this candidate or the other, but speaking the truth to all and trusting that the great mystery of God's love for each of us, even that person that is the exact opposite of our political views, is beloved of God. How does all that work? It's beyond us as humans. But we start. That, I think, is what we've got to remember. The separation of church and state, I believe, has been deeply misunderstood and misinterpreted. You could say weaponized in our time, instead of being a real judicious separation that is beneficial to the people of God.
Well, Your Excellency, I hope that you will join us again. We're going to have to leave it there, but thank you so much for sharing your views and your thoughts with us today. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.